Hello, and welcome to another edition of Danette's Thoughts on Jesus. This week, we're talking about knowing your enemy. Is there an enemy? There's absolutely an enemy. And Ephesians 6:12 says, "For our struggle is not against blood and flesh, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers of this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places." I want to address heavenly places. That is a spiritual realm that it's talking about. It's not actually talking about in the sky or in heaven. It's talking about the spiritual world. The flesh and blood is not what we're against here. That's just physical. What is happening is the spiritual is what's coming against us. 1 Peter 5:8 is discipline yourselves, keep alert. Like a roaring lion, your adversary, the devil, prowls around looking for someone to devour. And we must discipline ourselves. Discipline is very important in regulating whether or not we are battling for the light or for the darkness. 2 Corinthians 2:11 says, "And we do this so that we may not be outwitted by Satan, for we are not ignorant of his designs." 2 Corinthians 11:13 through 15, "For such boasters are false apostles, deceitful workers, disguising themselves as apostles of Christ. And no wonder, even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. So it is not strange if his ministers also disguise themselves as ministers of righteousness. Their end will match their deeds." Ephesians 6 makes a point to say that our struggle is not with blood and flesh. That is the main idea that it's trying to get across here, is that the physical is not what we're having problems with. It manifests in the physical, but it's actually a spiritual problem. We're at war with the powers of evil of this present darkness, as it says in Ephesians. We are spiritual beings and must be on guard against the cosmic evil that tries to devour us, as in First Peter 5:8. So, how can we be alert, just like First Peter tells us to do? We must recognize the evil when it presents itself. There are no neutral interactions. It is either positive and serves to build and grow, or it's negative and serves to tear down and destroy. And when I learned this, it was really an epiphany moment for me, because I never knew that the words that I said could be the difference between life and death for somebody, but they really are. So, how do we combat this evil? If we look a little closer at 2 Corinthians 2:11 and back up just a little bit to verses 9 and 10, we see that verse 11 is talking about forgiveness when it says, um, "And we do this so that we may not be outwitted by Satan." So, this in 9 and 10 is talking about forgiveness. Evil can take hold when we harbor unforgiveness, even if it's against ourselves. And I know sometimes it's really difficult to forgive yourself for past mistakes. I know I struggle with this myself with my children. It's incredibly difficult sometimes to get past guilt. And those emotions, those negative emotions, unforgiveness and guilt and shame, and all of these negative emotions can really bring the darkness into other people. 2 Corinthians 11:13 through 15 points the finger at false apostles and those whose goal is deceit. Isn't it interesting that empire and religious leaders are the one being singled out as part of the darkness? The darkness has been around since the beginning. If you go back to Genesis, you will find where it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the light overcomes the darkness. We must be the light to overcome the darkness. We must be aware of our words and our actions. A good question to ask yourself is, are you speaking life or destruction? Pointing people to Jesus is our light. That is how we bring the light to others and who are still in the dark. Love like Jesus loved. Follow his example. Speak with genuine concern for the spiritual well being of whoever you're encountering on your journey. It doesn't even have to be someone you know, it could be someone that you see in the grocery store, it could be somebody that works with you, it could be your kid's teacher. You know, we encounter so many people on a daily basis, and we are exposed to so many people, even driving. Dude, driving is such a big way to see where your anger lies, because road rage is real. Um, but even the people that you're screaming at going down the highway, even though they can't hear you, you're still sending out negative energy. So please be aware of what you're speaking. Please be aware of the things you say. I fall short myself and say things that I really should not. And we're all not perfect, you know, we're all just humans trying to get it right, and we never will get it all right. So just be that light. Be that light that overcomes the darkness. In Genesis, whenever it talks about how the evening and the morning is the first day or the second day, and so on and so forth, that is because the darkness was there, but the light overcame it. And we can be that overcoming light. We can be that shining example of Jesus so that people can rest and we can recognize our enemy when it comes at us trying to destroy. And I thank you all for your time. As always, if you need prayer, if you need anything that I can help you with, please DM me and I'll do my best to do whatever it takes to help you. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week.